I don't know. I'm not really big in the holidays. Let me start off the philo like that, okay? Let me just start it off like that, cause like it's like I don't know if I'm supposed to give you like a fuck, dude. I hate holidays for real. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want it to be inauthentic. It's not like I'm here to, I don't. I want. It's like I could give you a special Thanksgiving philo. Like I could give you something like, not salty at all. It's like you know what I'm saying. It's like I could give you like, oh, like, I want to make a special like thing. It's not. It's like this is just like any other day. I mean, except the schedule's a little messed up. I mean, I hope it means a lot to spend it with you guys here in its own right. Knowing that people are doing their things and we're doing our thing. So I'm glad you guys are here, whoever is here. But it's just I'm glad you guys are here, and it's interesting. So this is the Thanksgiving philo, and today was an interesting morning in the last few days. Even just seeing stuff and. I don't know, man. I've been embracing a lot of positivity, and I encourage you to as well. And I heard something. I think it was Stephen Furtick, the pastor, and I like what he said. And it was just he said this phrase, and I'm really just gonna go off of it. And he gave his story, but it kind of gave me he started with this story, but it gave me something else to look at, and it's kind of just like the nature of everything, both what we see with people. What we see in the world right now, kind of just how people behave towards each other, and really the message for this, man, the conclusion of this philo is for you guys to just understand, who you are and how to, how positivity is so important and what you should be reminding yourself so you could understand where the real power comes from, like with your mind and all that, truly, because a lot of people are always going to have stuff to say about you, whether it is on the holidays or not. Some people, the Thanksgiving clapback, all of that. But I've noticed it, like even TikTok, bro. I saw it. I felt bad. Like there's like trends on TikTok. TikTok is the most toxic app ever. I've noticed that. It's like all people coming on, they're like duetting and responding to people. Somebody does something, and then people like talk crap about them. They're like, oh, why is this guy? There's one guy who would just take it. They was doing that 21 Savage thing with the trend, big swole dude, and people are like, oh, you're this, you're that. And the guy even commented on it. He was like, why are you spreading hate? And I was like, I feel. He was like, why? Like, you don't even know people. Like, why are you hating? And I agree. I was like, man, I was like, I want to start doing TikToks and just be positive to people. I will just do it with just only positive things to say. But then it reminded me a lot. Like TikTok is one of the apps. It's just like YouTube. It's just like when I started out. It reminded me of a story. This happened around last Thanksgiving. I remember that even, I still deal with it today with people. People, you have the internet. You have a lot of people, and like you're seeing people like go out of their way to like hurt other people. It's like it's crazy. Like, like people would like, I saw one TikTok again, somebody emailed some dude's job because they thought, because of something he said that they disagreed with. And I remember one of the first times we were streaming, somebody reported us to like the real estate board, or they tried to do that. And we got note of it. We didn't do anything wrong. And something they just told us, though. They're like, yeah, you got complaints. I remember it was the same situation that happens a lot. It was when we banned somebody. Ironically, I laugh at it now. We have your ban appeal coming. Don't worry. But all of this, though, it's just like you see the negativity with certain things and how people take it upon themselves to be negative, when realistically we could take it upon ourselves to be positive. But a lot of times people just forget really where they came from. And people will say that to you even negatively. I even have gotten that. You guys hear that a lot. When people say, oh, how do you talk like this? Honestly, it's the craziest thing. Why don't you talk like where you're from? People don't know where I'm from. People would say this. People will judge. People will assume. But at the end of the day, here is the point. You aren't from a location. You aren't from a place. You're not like, honestly, I love the cult. We're all so different, but none of us are really different when it comes to this factor. I hope you know. I really, really hope you know. And I'll tell you what the factor is, but such variety, but we are all the same. And this is what it says. It says it in the Bible. You are from God. That's what it says. My people are from God. You are from God. That's the thing you need to remember. That's the thing you need to remember with positivity. And that's why I bring it up with positivity, because you can't forget who you are. If you forget that, it's kind of, again, because think about it, you're getting messages from everybody else. You're going to get the people who are going to say things about you. You're going to get people who are mean. You're going to see somebody be mean to someone else, and you do what that person does and feel a certain way. All of that. And what that is, and this is what I'm saying, why you are from God, you have to understand this point. If you are from God, you will understand God. And what is the language of God? Do you see that? This is where it gets better. It's just like options. I've said this before. You need to know the language of options. It's communicating something to you. It's the same thing here. The language of God is positivity. It's hope. It's love. It is not anger. It's not envy. It's not negativity. It's not breaking people down. It's not cynicism. If you really think about it, the language of God is love. I am love. That's what it says. It's positivity. That's the language of God. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I think a lot of us forget who we are. You forget where you came from. You know, and this is the thing. And this was the point that really stuck with me, because it leads to two things. You can't speak the language of Satan and be from God. Think about that. So how many of you guys are telling yourself negative thoughts, are believing negative thoughts, are beating yourself down? Honestly, like, fuck. I always tell you guys, watch how if it's just easy to do to yourself, watch what you're going to do to people. Like, honestly, like, let's not even talk about other people for a second. Because I don't even want to know what the hell you say to other people, for real. Because it starts right there at this core, though. It's just like, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying in your mind? I don't care what you're saying out loud, but like deep down, days like Thanksgiving, your holiday, you're in your room, you're alone, you're watching a stream. The stream's going to go off. What are you going to do? When you have the opportunity to think thoughts, honestly, when you hear me say that I'm old, and then what's your thought about that? You think about, what do you tell yourself? It's all about what you tell yourself at the end of the day. Are you going to remind yourself when no one's there watching of the negativity? Are you going to remind yourself and speak this language of, oh, maybe this isn't going to happen. Maybe I can't do this. There's all this. It's never going to be like this. This is why you're messed up. This is why it's always like, think about that. That's what you're saying to yourself, but this is the problem. That is the language of the devil. So if you know you're from God, you have to watch what you're speaking or be aware of what the language is, because you don't have to listen to a language that isn't yours. You don't have to listen to that, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's one thing to take. You don't have to listen, though, because you will listen. As it says in the Bible, they listen to my voice. They know I'm the one calling, like the sheep and the shepherd. So think about that. You can't speak the language of Satan and be from God. And that's where some of you guys got to work on it, myself included, to just drown out that other language and try to bring to light what is really there, what you really need to tell yourself. And this is the final point, and it really got me. And it said, and this is the point of speaking the language of God. I love it. It is love, it's positivity and all that. But one thing, and it's funny because it starts with those things like love, positivity. It starts with this stuff that seems really fruitless, to be honest, to some people. But the point is, it ends with wisdom. It ends with a successful life. It ends with good things. That's the whole idea of it. When you know how to speak the language, when you have positivity and love, you will become wise. You will know how to live you will know how to live life and live properly and build your life and have relationships and do whatever you need to do through there, because you're speaking the language and you're, there's a real practical result. But you tell people hope, love, positivity, they say no. I want the success, I want the stability, I want the confidence. You don't get that is all a result of that stuff, but you don't get that after. You can't get that without doing the first stuff. It's the progression of the language, and that's the key. It's wisdom. And let me give you this reminder that you can't speak the language of Satan and be from God. And why? And that makes sense because Satan doesn't want you to be wise. He doesn't want you to have confidence. He doesn't want you to get the things that the language of God provides. When you know you are from God, you will literally have an inheritance. He doesn't want you to have wisdom. He doesn't want you to be smarter so that you could live your life and start doing positive cycles in life and start helping other people. He doesn't want you to be confident. He doesn't want you to network with people. It makes a lot of sense why. He wants you to say abrasive things. He doesn't want you to have people be friends with you. His mission is to seek, kill, and destroy. That's why he says those things to you. That's why when he speaks his language of negativity, it's trying to brainwash you that you are not from God, so that you will give up on all of these things and all of the practicality that comes with it that will change your life. And some of you, it's hard to accept God. You don't have to, because God, and we're going to talk about that, principles, because it's really mainly understanding what you're saying to yourself, the positivity, the language, how you're communicating. And this is the point, wisdom. Cynicism, and this is what happens a lot of the time. A lot of us in our mind are cynics. We see something. I'm a big cynic myself. I'm paranoid. I don't trust a lot of things. Don't take this. I'm not pointing my finger at anybody. There's a lot of cynics. A lot of us see things in life. A lot of us have been disappointed, let down so many times, and you are probably above average intelligence. It's very easy to become cynical. If you really think about it, it's never going to work. Oh, I know this and this, but there's also that. Like, deep down, some of you got the faith, you believe all, but you got that, there's a cynic in you. And you got to really understand the cynicism that's not the language of God. Yeah, it says cynicism is a sickness. It's not wisdom. And that's something that really hit me today, because I was like, damn. So it's not really all about, it's not always about proving everything wrong. It's not always about being cynical towards everything. You don't get wisdom, and you can't unlock the wisdom of God by doubting and being cynical all the time. It just doesn't make sense. That does not make sense from a language perspective. How you would unlock something by doing the opposite. Literally, wisdom is coming from faith and hope and love and persistence. You get to really unlock wisdom when you look at a situation and you may understand where it could fail, but you're not cynical about what could happen or what your own abilities are. You may be aware of limitations, but you're not cynical. When you're cynical, you don't get to open the door to wisdom. How can you, if you are cynical about it, you will not even try. You will not open the door. You will think you are better than the solution, because there is no solution. So cynicism is a sickness. It's not a wisdom. And that's just something key. And here's the final part. You are from God, and God works on principles. I've said this before, but God is not a respecter of people. I hope you know that. That's why you should love it, if you really, really think about it. If you really, really think about it. That's why everybody's equal. That's why the rain is on the just and unjust alike. There's good things and bad things happening in the world. God does not respect people. That's why you could take whatever, you could have the same blessing I have. Some of you really need to believe that, and you really have to understand that. See? Because cynicism will not let you understand the wisdom of what I'm saying. When I say all of you could have everything I have 10 times more, both spiritually, materially, everything. Because God, it's not like God says only Josh is going to be this guy. Only Josh is going to do that. No, that's not how God works. God doesn't care. He knows I'm a flawed human. He knows everything that you don't even know. That's why I love it when people try. It's like, come on, you don't think God sees it? Anything. So he's going to be the one, but what he does is respect the principle. God is not a respecter of persons. He's a respecter of principle. So whether you believe or not, God will respect the principle. It's the same thing. Education. Educating is a principle. You could be an evil person and follow the law of educating people, and that's a principle well regarded by God. That doesn't matter, evil or good. The principle of educate your young. That's the first commandment in the Bible. Obey your father and mother. Education, structure. That's what it is. It's from God. It's a principle. It's just like musical notes. You know that. On a musical scale, if you could play 4 or 5 notes, you could play everything. You know that, right? The same variations of C note, D note, E note, A. It's just different things. If you could do it in one area, you could do it on every area. That's it. If you know the numbers 1 through 10, you could count to 1,000,000 without knowing any other number higher, because it's just multiplied over and over again. 10 times whatever. You could operate in tens. You don't need to know every number. If you know one thing, you could apply it on everything. If you could master it on one level, you could master it on any level. Just like music. That's a principle. That's a principle of musical notes. That's a principle of math. That's a principle of numbers. Yes, it's an abacus in a nutshell. Exactly. And that's what God is. The principles. That's what he respects. So do you see what the point is? That's why I keep bringing this up a lot with all these philos. Because whatever you could do at a small scale, you will do it at a bigger scale. That's the principle of God that he respects. If you cannot be entrusted with a little, you cannot be entrusted with a lot. It's the simple case of the notes. That's why God wants you to be trained. He wants you to be, if you can't be positive with something little, how are you going to be positive with a real big challenge? If you're going to give up on everything small, how are you going to ever have a big problem to give up on? Do you see what I'm saying? It's the principles. So if you could do it on one level, you could master it on any level. That's why I want you guys to be positive. That's why I want you guys to be excited. Don't be cynical. Don't speak this language of negativity to yourself and other people, so that you could really, really take advantage of this, so you could just learn these small good decisions, because that's why small good decisions is so important. Because if you could master something small and little right there, you could do it on one level. If you could be faithful with nothing, you will be faithful with a lot more. That is real trust that is being built between you and God and you and yourself. Because if you could play the C note, you could play the whole song. But if you don't take the time to practice that C note and you think, oh, no, I want the full song and then I'm going to practice, it's not going to make sense. And that's the language of the devil. All of it. So, for all of you guys, I mean, I hope you're excited and I hope you follow these principles. Don't let the devil trick you into following the principles of negativity. And don't take these moments for granted, and use it to build it up and stay focused and have hope. Some of you say, I'm cynical by nature. That's just who I am as a person. Who I am. You are from God. What happened to I'm made in his image? I have the power of God. That's what it says in the Bible. You forgot that part if you're going to say, oh, I'm just this. So the principle is, be positive with certain stuff. You'll be positive with the little, you will become positive with the lot. Some of you may not find anything to be positive about. Let's start with something a little bit. Simple as that. But respect the principles. And, keep starting small. Keep going from there. And it's going to be fun. It will be, and it should be encouraging to know that once you master 1 through 10, Once you master just the basics of these notes, you will be able to apply it. But don't for a second think that if you can't respect the principle, that's what I love about it. Like, go ahead, don't respect God. Keep fighting me over it. Go ahead. God's fake, invisible guy. That's fine. But you can't argue the principle of hard work. That doesn't matter whether you're a heathen, the devil himself or not. If you work hard, unfortunately, that principle exists that you will get. It says it in Proverbs. That's what we kept reading. You could be entrusted with the little. You could be entrusted with the lot. So, respect these principles and fight off any language disregarding that and telling you that trying to just confuse you of who you are. That's what I would say. Just who you are. That's it. Don't forget who you are. When you say, I'm never going to do this, I'm not going to do this, just don't ever forget who you are, because that's not true. And you need to start speaking that language. You can't speak the language of the devil and expect God to come in. And maybe you don't see God, you don't see it as whatever it is. Your job is to handle it and be faithful with it. Because handle a little, you will get a lot. I don't care. I will argue for God with you on that. That's fine. Go ahead. Start mastering everything little by little. And do that for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And nothing good comes out of it, I will take that case to God myself for you. If you don't think God will listen to you, I think we have an equal opportunity, but I'm going to get mad. I'll be like, God, I know it's your plan, but come on. But I doubt it would happen, because even then, that's the principle. The principle will always work. So, be positive with the small things. Avoid the little negative comments. Be aware. Think. Just be careful what you tell yourself. Okay? Because what you tell yourself will be important. And where you go from there, it's going to be crazy. And I'm excited. Because some of you will, that's it. Some of you have a real big song you're going to play. And you don't let the devil talk you out of it just because you haven't put in the work yet to master the notes. I'm not saying you're not working hard. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you have to literally focus on the smallest thing and be okay with it and master it and understand that principle. You do it with the little, you'll do it with a lot, always. Always. But I love you all. I'm glad you're here. Happy Thanksgiving. That is your philosophy. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up on the video. You're on mobile. Press high. Chat X out the chat. Hit that thumbs up button. Second link for the nightly watch list and main channel. First link for the Scrape Alerts Bootcamp and Real Estate course. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. And that's it. I love it, baby.